Hello guys, it is Unapologetically Political. Welcome to today's video. So today we are going to be talking about the Senate and how Democrats are basically screwed in the Senate. Now, I don't know all the senators' names, so don't expect me to go through every single one. But real quick, I want to show you guys something on the map. So, real quick, let's put in all the Democrat states. The Democrats start off with 34, the Republicans start off with 31. Okay, all the Democrat states. Oregon, Minnesota, Illinois, Colorado, New Mexico. Why is it doing that? That's weird. Virginia, Delaware, New Jersey. Actually, hold New Jersey for a second. I want to talk about that later, so I will not be marking that yet. Rhode Island, Massachusetts, same with New Hampshire. I'm going to be holding that off for a second. So, other than New Hampshire, New Jersey, which would make it 45, the Democrats start off with 43 Senate seats. I think New Jersey's going to be... Why is that doing that? It's so weird. I think New Jersey's going to be likely. I don't think it's going to be safe. I think it's going to be likely. So yeah, but and I'll go into that later. But okay, this is so the the Democrats start off with 44 Senate seats. Not bad, respectable. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. Now I'm going to go over the Republicans, right? Let's fill all this in. The Republicans start off with 51 Senate seats. I don't care what people say. Iowa and Ohio are not going Dem. It's not happening. That is a cope. They are not going Democrat. Both voted for Trump over 13 points. They're not going Democrat. So, you know what? Just for the sake of it, I will put them in the most likely category. But actually, no, I think that is likely. I think New Jersey is... Nah. New Jersey's supposed to be likely. There we go. New Jersey is likely. I labeled that wrong. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, Iowa and Ohio are not going Republican. I mean, they're not going Democrat. Oh my gosh, I'm so freaking tired. I'm sorry, guys. I am exhausted. All right. Ohio and Iowa are not going Democrat. They're just not. It's extremely unlikely. And also Maine with Susan Collins. Oh, nah, it's blue. It's going to go likely Susan Collins. Susan Collins isn't losing that seat. She is very popular in the state of Maine. She has lost some support, but she's gonna win that seat. She's gonna win it. She's not gonna lose it. That means Republicans start off with 52 Senate seats right off the bat. That hasn't even incorporated the swing states of the Senate. Right off the bat, Republicans get 52 Senate seats. Right off the bat. The only way Democrats get a majority is if they... keep forgetting to switch. Sorry, guys. Is if they take all the swing states. Okay, even if they take all the swing states, that's still only 48. Just saying, even if they take all the swing states, that's only 48. Also, I moved the map. That's only 48. That's still not a majority. They would have to take Iowa and Ohio. And that's not happening. And even if they did, it'd be 50-50. Even if they did, it'd be 50-50, and because Vance is the VP, he'd be the tie-breaking vote. So, guess what? No matter what happens, Democrats do not have a path to a majority. They don't. Plain and simple. And the math ain't mathing for them. They don't have it in the cards. They'd have to literally sweep the board just to tie it. I mean, I guess maybe if Susan Collins loses, it'd be 51. But again, that's also if Iowa and Ohio magically go Democrat, which they aren't. They aren't. They're not gonna go. They're not gonna go Dem. They're just not. Not to mention, I don't think the swing states are all gonna go Dem. Now, a lot of you might be asking, unapologetically political, are you crazy? New Hampshire isn't a swing state. That's a safe Democrat state. Why are you putting it in the swing category? Well, because I got some big news from the state of New Hampshire. So, for those of you who don't know, Chris Sununu is the governor of New Hampshire. Very, very popular governor. The Sununu family is extremely popular in the state. His dad, I think, was once governor, and he's extremely popular there. Chris is extremely popular there. Well, guess what? Report, former New Hampshire Republican Senator John E. Sununu, the brother of Chris Sununu, the governor, is interested in running in the 2026 Senate race. This race is open because Democratic Shaheen is retiring. For those of you who don't know, John E. Sununu was a former senator from the state of New Hampshire who is extremely popular, just like his brother. Not to mention, his brother will most likely be endorsing him. Both are Republicans. Okay? Now, Chris Sununu isn't that great of a Republican, in my opinion. He just isn't. He might as well be a Democrat. But his brother is slightly more conservative. But because he's a Sununu, it's almost guaranteed he's going to win. It might not be by a safe margin, which is 15 plus, but I could see it being anywhere from 5 to 7. Which, guess what? If he does announce that he is running officially, which when a candidate says they're interested in running, it's an 80% chance that they are going to run for that seat. It's just how it goes. So, right there, right then and there, that makes it so New Hampshire's Republican. By the same sort of margin, actually no, by that margin, by an Ohio and Iowa margin. Actually, no, it'd be a Susan Collins margin, which means, guess what? Republicans already have their majority they have now, which is 53 Senate seats. I haven't even gone into the other Senate seats. I haven't even. FYI, I think North Carolina is a pure toss-up. I don't think I can predict that right now at the moment. I don't. That's a pure toss-up in my opinion. I don't see it going either way at the moment. I could see it being tilt Republican, and I could see it being tilt Democrat. I genuinely don't see it I see as a pure and utter toss-up. But let's go into Georgia first. Okay, let's go into Georgia. So for those of you who don't know, the leader in the Georgia Senate on the Democrat side is... Wait, this is the wrong one. Hold up. Actually, no, this is the right one. Whoops. Okay. For those of you who don't know, the Democrat senator in Georgia is George Ossoff. He is a Jewish senator from the state of Georgia who is arguably very unpopular there. So, this ignored the Kemp thing. Kemp isn't running. I accidentally pulled this up, but it was the only thing I could find that had this. So, also FYI, if Kemp does run, and if he changes his mind, he'd be +3 in the polls, and he'd beat Ossoff immediately. But for those of you who don't know, Purdue was the former senator of Georgia. He was very popular at one point. In 2014, he was +8. Well, Ossoff beat him by 1 point. Okay, 1 point in a runoff election. It wasn't even the main election. It was a runoff election. Let me pull it up. So, these are the final results of the actual election. Purdue won by 1.3. Now, you might be wondering, well, if Purdue won, why didn't Ossoff win? Well, because Georgia has this dumb runoff rule that makes it if a candidate doesn't get 51%, they lose. And it has to go to a runoff. So, runoff elections, for those of you who don't know, are basically just like round 2. But 49.7%? Come on. Really? Come on. That's losing by technicality right there. That's stupid. That's dumb. That's absolutely horrendous. Purdue won. Just saying, Purdue won. But that is the law in Georgia, and so they did a runoff. So, in the runoff, what happened? Well, what the heck? Screw you. I don't want an ad. Well, what happened in the runoff was Republican turnout was horrible, and Ossoff won by 1 point. 1 point. A lot of people argue that Ossoff is a great candidate, and he's going to win by at least 5, but he's going to get 10 or something like that in Georgia. He's not popular at all in Georgia. He's not. He's not popular among black voters, which Democrats need to win in Georgia. The black vote is very important. And let me tell you, blacks are not going to go out and vote for a Jew. It's not going to happen. Now, let's talk about why I think, and the proof that he is not popular in Georgia. Georgia Jewish leaders turn away from John Ossoff, urge Brian Kemp to run for Senate. Brian Kemp is a Republican. Jewish leaders turn away from John Ossoff, who is a Jew. That's not exactly good when your own people say screw you and endorse the other guy. That's not exactly a good thing. Just saying. Now this is old news because at the time Brian Kemp was considering to run. I think he's going to try to run for president, which he's going to lose historically. He's going to be DeSantis 2.0. But yeah, Ossoff isn't even popular among his own people. Not to mention he's a Jew, which means the progressives automatically hate him because he's a Jew. A lot of progressives hate Jews. It's just how it goes. Ossoff isn't winning. I don't think he's winning. Now, I will give him some points right now because the Republicans have not chosen their candidate. So, at the moment, I will admit he is in the lead. But as soon as Republicans unite behind a candidate and get a good candidate with a good campaign, good funding, Ossoff's gone. Because, again, his own people don't want him. Okay, so that makes... This is my prediction. As of right now, my prediction in Georgia is going to be tilt Republican. Which, guess what? That gives Republicans 54 Senate seats. Now, again, all this can change over the next year. A lot of stuff can happen, and I mean a lot of stuff can happen. But as of right now, I don't see Ossoff winning. I don't see Ossoff winning. The only thing going for him is the fact that he's the incumbent. He has nothing. He has nothing. So, as of right now, I'm going to be putting it in tilt R, because when your own people say, screw you, we're going to vote for the other guy, good luck winning. I don't see him winning. He's not popular at all in that state. Now, let's move on to Michigan. Actually, wait. Nah, I'm gonna leave North Carolina as a toss-up at the moment. Too much... Actually, you know what? No. As of this moment, I do think it's gonna be... not tilt. Lean... Dang it. I need to memorize these colors. It's gonna be lean Democrat at the moment. Now, Whatley is a great campaigner, and Roy Cooper isn't exactly popular in his state. But as of right now, I'm going to say Cooper wins by a lean margin. At this very moment, I don't think Whatley's going to win. But again, a lot of stuff can happen. He might be able to pull it off. I just don't see it happening. Also, I need to... There we go. New Jersey's going to be likely to him now. There we go. That's better. So, let's move on to Michigan, shall we? Michigan Senate. Stevens versus Rogers. Okay, so at the moment, Stevens leads by 1. Okay, Stevens leads by 1. Now there's these 2 polls down here. Well, not polls, but results of the last 2 elections that I want you guys to look at. Okay. The last 2 Senate elections for this seat, and that Rogers was in. The last one was in 2020. It was between Peters, who was the Dem, and James, who was the Republican. James lost by only 1.8. Okay? Very slim margin. Okay. Rogers runs in 2024. He only loses by 0.3. Every election Rogers is in, his numbers get better and better. And because he's going to be one of the focal points of this election, the only reason he lost in 2024 was because he wasn't well funded. And yet he still ran an amazing campaign. And only lost by that little bit. That's pathetic. That's like maybe 2,000 votes. Like that's pathetic. He lost by such a small number. That can be easily won. I think Rogers is winning Michigan. I don't see him not. Not to mention, Democrats have an extremely competitive primary. And I mean extremely competitive. It is currently between 3 Democrats. Each of them suck, but... So, the candidates. There's Abdul Al-Assad. Al-Said, sorry. That's how you pronounce it. He is the Muslim candidate. He's also a communist. He is endorsed by Bernie Sanders. Makes sense. Bernie Sanders is a communist. He is endorsed by a couple other far-left Dems. To be honest, none of them I know. Then there's Malroy McMorrow. Never heard of Mallory, oh my gosh. Mallory, it's Mallory. Oh my gosh. I speak English great, guys. It's amazing. It's Mallory McMorrow. How did I pronounce that wrong? I don't know. But I've never heard of this person. I don't think she's going to win the primary. But then there's Haley Stevens. This is, in my opinion, Stevens is going to win it, but barely. Like I said, this is a very competitive thing. A lot of just competitiveness going on right here. Let's look at the campaign finances, shall we? So Al-Said, I'm just going to call him Abdul. Abdul raised $1,797,000. He spent $697,000, and he still has and at the moment he has about $1,100,000 at his disposal. Mallory raised about $2,145,000. She spent $1,318,000. She has outspent both campaigns of Stevens and Abdul. McMorrow has outspent the others at this point. And cash on hand, she has about $826,000. Let's look at Stevens, shall we? Stevens has raised $2,816,000. She has spent about $860,000 of it, and she has about $1,956,000. So round up, that's $2 million left. I do think Stevens is going to win this just because of how much money she has on hand, but at the same time, McMorrow has spent more, so I might be wrong. But let's look at the polling, shall we? As of right now, Abdul is averaging about 21% of the vote. McMorrow's averaging about 18% of the vote. And Haley is averaging about 28% of the vote. So, like I said, Stevens is in the lead. Also, FYI, there's about 42% undecided. That's just, a lot of undecided. Like I said, this is a very competitive campaign. Stevens is more pro-Israel. Okay, so if she wins, she loses the Muslim vote. Abdul is more pro-Palestine. If he wins, he loses the Jewish vote. Mallory, I honestly don't know. I honestly do not know. So, but still, if she wins, I think both sides are going to hate her. Both sides are so freaking polarized in this race that whoever's going to win is going to lose a ton of support in the general. That alone, honestly, kind of makes me think Rogers just got this in the bag. I honestly, 100% think it's lean Rogers at the moment, which would make the Republican majority 55 Senate seats. As of right now, I think Republicans gain 2 Senate seats. They just have better things going on. And I've already covered the Democrat finance problems. I think the Democrat financing is really going to hold them back. I do in most of these campaigns. It's really going to hold them back. I don't see it. Now, again, with the New Hampshire one, that all depends if Sununu runs, and because he hasn't announced yet, I'm actually going to change it to to a likely Democrat state. But once he announces, I'm changing it back. So, still though, Republicans are 54. Yeah. I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, but I don't care. Right now, if you logically look over this, Democrats aren't winning the Senate. If anything, Republicans might even gain in the Senate. It's honestly kind of sad. As a Republican, I'm happy to see this, like, yeah, I'm winning. But at the same time, I feel bad for the other party, because, like, well, your party's just so incompetent, they don't even know how to run their money. Therefore, they're losing, and they have horrible messaging. So, I don't know. But as of right now, this is my prediction, 46-54. 46 for Democrats, 54 for Republicans. Now, let's talk about why I don't think New Jersey is a safe state. The New Jersey voter registration came up, and Republicans had a net gain of 3,000. Yeah, Democrats lost 2,000 voters. Republicans gained 985. That's a net gain of 3,000 voters. Since election day, since the closing of 2024, the start of the year, Dems led in New Jersey by 905,000. Now it's 861,000. They've lost over 40,000 voters. And if somehow Citarelli wins, which gut feeling, I do think he wins. The gut feeling right now is he wins. If he wins the 2025 governor election, Democrats are screwed in Virginia. Not Virginia. In New Jersey. Long term, they're screwed. Short term, they'll still vote Democrat. But long term, they're screwed. They are screwed, dude. They're screwed. Heck, who knows? Maybe in 2026 it might even vote Republican. If it votes Republican this year, and Citarelli's policies work in New Jersey, well, guess what? A Republican might win in New Jersey in 2026. Now, you guys cannot, the Democrats cannot go, oh, well, redistricting has affected the Senate. Redistricting doesn't affect the Senate. Redistricting only affects the House. Which I still think is 50-50, by the way. Democrats are just such a bad position. It's honestly sad and pathetic. They are in such a bad position. They're not winning the Senate. Their best case scenario. Okay? Best case. They sweep every swing state, which I think is physically impossible. They take out Susan Collin, and they somehow magically pick up either Ohio or Iowa, and they get 50-50. That's their best case scenario. And guess what? It's a pretty unrealistic one. Republicans are going to hold on to Iowa. They are going to hold on to Ohio. And I guarantee you, without a doubt, the Democrats are not going to be taking Michigan, and they're not going to be taking Georgia. They might take North Carolina. North Carolina is the only true toss-up, in my opinion. Whoops. Only true toss-up. And let's not forget Susan Collins over here. Let's also mark these properly. There we go. There we go. Right now, 54-45. 54-45. Also, Alaska would actually be likely. It wouldn't be safe, but it would be likely. I genuinely do not see a good path for Dems in the Senate. I don't. I seriously think the Dems are screwed in the Senate. They just have no pathway. They have literally no pathway. All it takes is for the Republicans to put up a little bit of a fight and they win. Republicans don't even have to put up a fight. They can lose every toss-up. And Maine. And they'd still have 51. They could lose Iowa. And it'd still be 50-50. Vance would be the tie-breaking vote. And we all know they're not losing Iowa. And we all know, in my opinion, and if you think about it logically, the toss-ups are toss-ups. They're toss-ups for a reason. I just happen to think Georgia and Maine are and Michigan are gonna go Republican. Best case scenario for Republicans, they manage to sweep the three swing states, and John Sununu runs in New Hampshire, and they manage to pick that up as well. Honestly, right now, I think it's more feasible of a two-seat gain. And it's when it goes from 53 to 55. And if only they did not nominate Carrie Lake in Arizona. Carrie Lake is an idiot. She's an absolute moron. She lost because she tried to be Trump, and she overdid it, and it was stupid. But again, like, just the Dems don't have a good base. Man, excuse me, I keep yawning. The Dems don't have a good floor. At the moment, this is my Senate map. 46-54. If John Sununu runs, well, 45-55. 10-seat majority. No. 5-seat majority in the Senate for Republicans. And if Whatley manages to win, well, 56-seat majority. I don't see Democrats doing good this midterm. It's going to be a pathetic showing. It's going to be absolutely pathetic. They just don't have the cards. Everything is going against them at the moment. Everything is going against them at the moment. Their candidates suck. The Democratic Party approval rating is 20%. The Republican Party approval rating is 41%. People don't like Republicans, but they sure hate Democrats more. It's honestly sad to look at. This is a midterm election. Democrats should be winning. They aren't. They just aren't. Not to mention, Senate Majority Leader John Thune is talking to a former senator in Colorado who was relatively popular to run again in Colorado. Colorado might even be in play, guys. Now, I don't think that Republican's going to win, but that could make Colorado a lean Democrat state, or it's honestly more likely. But that still would hurt them margins. If Trump's bid in Illinois with the National Guard and tackling crime works out, like it did in D.C., D.C. voters really like what's happening in D.C. They do. The mayor of D.C. would not have changed her tune on it if they weren't. And if it works in Illinois, who knows? Illinois might even be competitive. I don't know. But Democrats have nothing. They have nothing at the moment when it comes to the Senate. Best case scenario for Republicans, 44-56. Worst case scenario, is just unrealistic. So the actual worst case scenario is a one seat gain. Democrats are going to be extremely disappointed on election night. And I'm honestly scared, because when Democrats are disappointed, they riot and they cause violence. Yeah, January 6th. I get it. January 6th happened. The only time in recorded history Republicans have ever gone full riot mode. I get it. Okay, it happened. I don't agree with it. I think it was still wrong. But Democrats and leftists riot a whole lot more, and they hurt a lot more people when they're mad. It's in their nature. Literally, historically, it's in their nature. Every single act of political, like 80% of political violence in the United States and in the world has been caused by leftist groups. Look it up. With that said, guys, this is Unapologetically Political, and I am signing off. Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day. See you in the next video. This is Unapologetically Political, signing off.